What time is it?
Moments of Inspiration with Zoe.
Hey fam, it's Zoe. It's another episode of Moments of Inspiration. So glad that we get to spend some more time together, and I believe that this week is going to be the best week yet, and something good is going to happen to you. Well, I am so excited to share about this subject matter today. It hit me so hard, and I was reminded by a conversation that I had with my dad quite a few years ago, and it came back to me, and I want to share it with you on today, and I believe it's going to be a great help to you. My dad was telling me a little bit about a few of his experiences from his battle in Vietnam when he served our country. And one thing that he told me is that there was a guy that was appointed to leadership over the platoon of soldiers because of his schooling, because of his academic acumen, and he, quote unquote, met the academic standards that were required for the position. However, once they got in battle, once the bullets started flying, once the bombs started dropping, the soldiers didn't have trust in this guy's leadership. Furthermore, he really didn't trust himself in that particular situation. That was a situation of life and death. It got real up in the place, And so, what I'm talking to you today about, just hear me out here. There was a soldier in the background who served multiple tours of duty, who was battle tested, and that was recognized by the leader of the platoon. And while they were going through the battle, he was called upon to lead the charge. What am I talking to you today about? It's leading from the back. Come on, somebody, leading from the back. You see, when the bullets started flying, they didn't trust this guy. Why? Because he was not tested in battle. He was not proven in battle. But there was a guy in the background who didn't have to flaunt his stuff, who didn't have to be loud about it, but it was understood. His leadership was understood in the background. I'm getting happy up in here. See, when they went to battle, whatever that guy said was law. Why? Because he was tested. He was proven. He's been there before. And that's what I want to talk to you today about. Once again, leading from the back. And I'm here to announce to you, it doesn't matter how many degrees you have. It doesn't matter how many titles you have in front of or behind your name. Leadership is an inside job. Did you hear what I said? I said leadership, true leadership, is an inside job. Now, I always encourage everybody, and it remains true, that we are endowed with, we are born with the raw goods and the characteristics of leadership. That comes on the inside of you already. But the truth is that leaders are not born. Leaders are made. We got to understand the difference here. Leaders are not born, but they are made. And there is a metamorphosis, there is a change, there is a process that takes place on the inside of all of us. And if we would allow it, it will birth out. It's birthed out. What do I mean by it? Leadership is birthed out of our experiences. It is birthed out of pressure. And yes, it's even birthed out from a dirty 4-letter word that we call pain. And I want to explain to you a few things that leadership is not. Leadership is not your gifts. Leadership is not your talents. Leadership is not your charisma. Those don't make you a leader. As a matter of fact, those things actually can set us up to hurt others in a more significant and damaging way if our character flaws are not dealt with before we get to a post of leadership. that can actually cripple us, and it can cause people to lose trust in us, which is one of the most valuable assets you can have. It's a horrible thing to lose somebody's trust because it's a very difficult thing to get it back. But I don't want to get into that, don't want to get sidetracked. Once again, I'm talking to you about leading from the back. There are a lot of examples of people who have led from the back. But what I want you to understand is that leadership is not talents, is not gifts, is not charisma. And another thing leadership is not perfection. So I want you to make sure that you don't set unrealistic expectations for yourself and put yourself under extra pressure that you are not created to handle. But I'm here to tell you, there are a lot of examples of what true leadership is. Chadwick Boseman led from the back. Rosa Parks led from the back. Jackie Robinson led from the back. Nelson Mandela led from the back. Abraham Lincoln led from the back. Albert Einstein led from the back. And in my favorite book, which is the Bible, Joseph led from the back. Moses led from the back. David led from the back. Esther led from the back. And the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, Jesus, led from the back. And I'm here to announce to you that there are a lot of things that we are called to be leaders in. Our families, our careers, our friends, our communities, different civic organizations. You are called to lead, but you are not born a leader. A leader is made. And that's a very important distinction to understand. I do want to explain to you what leadership is, and these are just a few characteristics of leadership. Leadership is consistency. Leadership is trust. Leadership is integrity. Leadership is experience. Leadership is presence. And leadership is posture. True leaders are not moved by circumstances. They aren't rattled by adversity. And that's very important to understand. And that's why when my dad told me that the leader relinquished his leadership to the guy who has been there, done that, that is important. Leadership is not loud. Leadership is not talking, but leadership is a posture. Leadership is action. That's what leadership is. And I want to encourage you in that. I went a little long today, but this thing is in me, I'm telling you. James 4:10 says this: humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. And I'm going to leave you with this. Proverbs 22:29. Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank. Let your character speak for you. And when you do that, your gifts, talents, and abilities will be the icing on the cake. I love you, and always remember that something good is going to happen to you. God bless.
Moments of Inspiration with Zoe.